Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if it is your first time here, welcome to React and Chill, where you get to come along with me while I react to movies, TV shows, anime, and I also do trailer reactions and do movie reviews. If you haven't already, do consider following me over on my social media, where I tend to post other content over on there, or you could also follow me just to come over and say hi. I absolutely love interacting with you guys. So last time on Loki, of course, this is the finale. After that crazy ending to episode 4, when Ravonna slash R-Slayer slash Renslayer, because I've been calling her God knows what, pruned Loki. Loki ended up in the abyss, the void. It's an area at the end of time where everything that gets pruned technically goes, which ends up being eaten up by the evil cloud dog demon Goliath. There he met all his other counterparts, so not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 other versions of himself, including an alligator. Might I say, alligator Loki was my favorite. So it was such a good episode. You know, we got to meet all these other characters. Oh, and obviously along came President Loki as well. Apart from President Loki, we got to see the Nexus events for the other Lokis, like how they got there. We got to see some really cool, interesting stuff that showed up in the episode too. So while Loki was getting acquainted with selves, we had Sylvie trying to get more information out of Ravonna. We find out that she's just in the dark about who the timekeepers are. So while she was trying to stall Sylvie for backup, you know, trying to feed her some sort of false things, Sylvie decided to go to where Loki was and pruned herself to end up there. So in the midst of that, obviously she ran in with Goliath, and then for a split moment she ended up enchanting it, and she ended up seeing what was there. So I think the plan that she came up with was whatever's beyond the void must be the timekeeper or whoever's in control of all of this. So it's actually pretty interesting to find out. Ravonna is also keeping B-15 captured. So she hasn't pruned B-15. I think she's trying to get information out of B-15 as well. So that'll be interesting to see. And obviously when Sylvie and Loki were reunited, and obviously we got to see Mobius again, I knew he didn't die. They were gonna try and combine their powers to enchant Goliath. And in that moment, we had classic Loki, who created a big enough diversion to help them enchant Goliath. And unfortunately, we lost classic Loki. But in that moment, he did find a glorious purpose. It was right here, right now, being able to use his powers to give Sylvian his past self, enough time to enchant Goliath. Once they enchanted him, they were able to open up and follow the cosmic brick road to this castle, fort type place, and hopefully where they'll be able to find answers. So there have been loads of stuff flying online, and there's something I thought of which I didn't mention last week, but considering we had different versions of Loki popping up, now I'm wondering, do you think there's another version of Loki who's potentially at the end of all this? Again, I know there's this other character called Kang the Conqueror also popping up. It may be this other character. I don't know much about Kang, but I know that he is quite he is in the Marvel universe. But I also thought, what if there's another variant, another Loki that's also at the end of this journey? But no, here we are. This is the end. I'm so sad that this is ending, but this was such a fun ride. I can't wait to see how this all ends. I hope we get the answers that we're looking for. If not, I hope we get a season 2 that gives us the answers that we're looking for. And yeah, and I wonder what we're going to get as the conclusion for Sylvie and Loki, because I know there's this budding romance, friendship situation going on, and I wonder what's going to happen next. So here we are with the finale, Loki episode 6, For All Time Always. Ooh.
My team, we have fought for the right to experience peace. I will rise.
I love this. They went to the end of time. Oh, cosmic rock. You know what? This legit looks like something out of Mario Galaxy.
I was pruned before you even existed. I have been waiting for this moment my entire life. I just need a second to get my head straight, okay?
Mysteriously opening doors. What are these cloaked figures? What's Miss Minutes doing there?
Welcome to the Citadel at the end of time. Y'all had an awfully long journey to get here. He's impressed. He created all, and he controls all. At the end, it is only
He who remains.
remains. You versus those self-righteous Avengers. How would you like to win?
Oh.
Two Lokis in the same place.
Both of us. Together on the timeline. We write our own destiny now.
Oh, sure you do. Good luck with that.
Oh my god.
This isn't what I asked for.
I know, but he thinks this will be more useful.
Who?
So something definitely happened here because that statue's all busted up. Oh. Oh.
I mean, it's a little unnatural.
Is that him?
Not what you were expecting, huh?
It is like Wizard of the Oz as well. Wizard of Oz, sorry.
Don't tell me I'm a disappointment.
Just a little bit easier to kill.
What? There we go. Whoa. Oh, he's gonna be already waiting in the office. Well, what took you so long?
Quiet. Loki.
I said I wasn't to be disturbed. Well, you're not going to be happy to see me.
Oh! Get it! Yes!
Boyd, I suppose it was going to be you.
Don't sweet talk me.
Man Boyd is another man's piece of cake.
Yeah, prune her.
109 into my office immediately.
Yeah, sorry, Vaughn, that's not gonna work out the way you think it is.
What did you do?
Secure the perimeter. I've got it.
Oh!
You need to listen to me.
There'll be time for that.
Just wait. What the hell is going on here? That isn't Judge Renslayer.
This is where he took her from.
We have a lot to talk about.
I'm not sure you quite understand the situation. You've lost.
Swing of a miss!
Because I already know what's going to happen.
Oh?
But how do I already have it loaded up with everything I need to know to keep from being killed by you two? I know it all.
Someone created the timekeepers. They created this whole place. They gave us all purpose. I have to believe. Only one person gets free will. The one in charge. And you suffer a crisis of faith and turn to those variants?
We're variants too.
Eons of friendship. And you threw it all away on a
Oh! Oh! Be careful, Mobius.
Where are you gonna go?
in search of free will.
Oof. What is the overall mission though?
What are you so afraid of?
Yeah.
Me?
Did he say me?
And just who are you?
A ruler? A conqueror?
There he is.
He who remained. Before the TVA, a variant of myself lived on Earth in the 31st century. Discovered that there were universes stacked on top of the dome. Other versions of us were learning the same thing while there was peace.
Ah.
Narcissistic, self-congratulatory peace. They shared technology, knowledge, using the best of their universe. However,
Oh dear.
the peace between realities
Ah.
erupted into all-out war. Preacher, you both know
Tears of reality. Elias.
Goliath. I weaponized Goliath. And I ended the multiversal war. This way. I
I can imagine.
And I'm older.
It was personal to me.
Grow up! Grow up, Sylvie! Murderer! We're all guilty. We all...
Oh, what's happening?
We just crossed the threshold.
What threshold? A Nexus event threshold?
I knew everything up to a certain point, and that point was about...
Oh
Now
yeah,
I have no idea.
it's branching
How
off.
the rest of this is going to go.
Now you're just gonna sit there with all that freedom and us deciding things.
Yes!
What are you doing?
Sylvie, hang on a moment.
Well, how about we finish what we started?
Oh, telekinesis.
But what if by taking him out, we risk unleashing something even worse?
True.
Sylvie, wait. Wait.
Sylvie doesn't wait, she throws hands. Oh. Oh, here we go.
Sylvie, stop. Stop. Listen, I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to throw. I just want you to be okay.
Oh! So you're doing this.
But I'm not you.
Oh no. Oh. Oh. It's done. Sylvie, what have you unleashed? Whoa. It's like branches upon branches upon branches. Oh my god.
Turning back now.
Who said anything about turning back?
Aww. I feel really bad for him because he really put his heart on his sleeve, put it all on the line for her, and then that had happened. And he really probably thought he was connecting with her. So you could just look at his face. Time to get to work. Yeah.
At this point, how are we even going to stop it? We can't.
Oh,
What? We freed the timeline.
oh,
We found him. Beyond the storm. A citadel at the end of time. But someone is coming. Countless different versions of a very dangerous person, and they're all set on war. We need to prepare. Who are you? What's your name?
Boots on the ground now, archives.
what's happened?
Who are you?
He ended up in a different TVA? It's already started! No! So that was Loki, episode 6 for All Time Always, the finale. There has to be a season 2 after this. I refuse to believe it. And as Jonathan Majors, when he appeared in the elevator, I knew for a fact that this must be either Kang himself or, like he explained, another version of him, because he's cast in the upcoming third Ant-Man and the Wasp film, Quantumania. So I knew it. So I knew it was him because I knew that he was cast as Kang the Conqueror. So this is interesting. So they were able to get to the Citadel at the end of time, which they met He Who Remains, and we've got a chance to see the backstory of how he ended up there in the first place. He explained how in the 31st century, a variant of himself had discovered that there were different universes, and then upon that exact moment, other versions of himself in those universes also discovered the universes. So they all met each other, discussed stuff, changed technology, everything was all good until, and obviously he mentioned conquer or conquering twice. So there's definitely the version of him as Kang the Conqueror existed on one of these variants. So obviously when a version of him found out that all these universes existed, he was going to go ahead and, like he said, conquer them, which started the multiversal war, which a variant from each type of universe went out in all-out battle. then his alter ego, the one who discovered all the universes, is the one who isolated their timeline and then created the TVA to help make sure there were no more other branches to stop this multiversal war. Now, in the midst of all that, that's when he came across Eliath, which was so interesting. And Eliath, he weaponized it to help prevent or keep him as the guard dog. Towards the end, when he was like, I was the one who weaponized him, X, Y, and Z, made it sound as if he might have been the original guy who discovered the timelines. So that was actually really, really interesting. And he did say that there are other versions of me, worse versions, who want to start a war. So Mobius had gone back to the TVA, you know, and was trying to chase Ravonna. So I don't know where Ravonna's now gotten to, what information that she received. But B-15 was able to pass on the information about what has happened. As different as there are different variants, as she was able to get the other squad people, the other Minutemen, she got the other Minutemen to see Ravonna / I think she was called Rebecca in that timeline in 2018, to try and prove a point that is not Judge Renslayer. That version of her, or that was her version, and a variant of that was at the TVA. Interesting stuff. However, as he was trying to bargain with them to say that, you know, 2 Lokis have appeared, you guys could run and take over the TVA, Sylvie was still not having any of it. She believes that she was on a journey and a quest to get to this point, and she was out for blood. Loki tried his best to stop her, and they went into that all-out fight, and it was quite sad in the end where she used his growing feelings for her. She was very aware of that as an advantage to push him through the temp pad portal door back into the TVA. So it was really sad, because in that moment where Loki was just reflecting on what had happened, he felt sad. He was the Loki that can't be trusted, but for once he actually wore his heart on his sleeve, really cared about Sylvie, and that had happened. And obviously Sylvie went ahead, even though He Who Remains had mentioned that, you know, the timeline has been breached, and that would have been what it was. The timeline was breached, and all the branches were forming. We saw all those spider webs and stuff, so literally all the timelines were forming. He was like, you know, this is your chance. If you kill me, all my other, really, I mean, if you think I'm bad, you should meet my other selves, which one of them has to be Kang. You should meet my other selves who are that want death, destruction, and all of that good stuff. So he said, either do that, or you guys take over, go back to the TVA, tell them everything, tell them what their purpose is and why this is all here. We're preventing a war. However, Sylvie was not ready. I feel like you could even see it in her face, like, that was this it? Because she killed him, and he even said that, I'll be back, I'll always be back. So she killed He Who Remains. Therefore, that was the final sort of thread keeping the timeline together, completely causing all these branches and going crazy. And we saw that shot of B-15 and Mobius seeing everything collapsing. So now obviously Loki, with this information, got back to obviously he was at the TVA and found them to try and tell them what had happened, what was going on, but they had no idea who he was. They didn't recognize him, and straight away he'd landed in a different timeline. He was in a different branch. He was trying to say that we made a mistake. We have unleashed a war. Different variants are gonna come looking for war. And you could see it yourself when he looked at the statue of the Timekeeper. It was the statue of He Who Remains, or it was the face of Jonathan Majors, aka He Who Remains, aka Kang the Conqueror, aka whomever. So that was so epic, and that was one hell of a cliffhanger, but there needs to be a season 2. That was amazing. So, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen to Sylvie. She's still at the Citadel at the end of time. Yes, we're setting up for, obviously, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. We've also got Doctor Strange, The Multiverse of Madness. We've got all these films that are going to be partaking within the multiverses, so I just cannot wait. Oh, and obviously Loki is stuck in a branch version of the TVA, because that Mobius and that B-15 don't know who he is. They just see that the timeline has branched off, but they're different versions of the ones he knew. So I wonder if we're ever going to meet the original ones again. I wonder where Renslayer has gotten off to, or where she went. And now with him dying, I wonder how they're going to start popping up. I mean, so many. I mean, this finale, such a good finale, but it's left me with so many more questions. Oh, but yeah, I think that was it. We did find out that, like he said, his variant version wasn't from the 31st century. And that's when they started discovering the timelines. So I can't wait to meet the different levels to He Who Remains. That's a good title for him. If it's trying to, in reference to He Who Remains, he is the variant that remains version of himself. He was... I didn't know if, because obviously the two Lokis had kissed, I didn't know if that was going to create a Nexus event or something to potentially help, I don't know, bring down the TVA or whatever it was, or help with the situation. Because in this sense, He Who Remains, his other variants were fighting, whereas the two Loki variants kind of fell in love. They were there to support and love one another, whereas I'm guessing his variants were ready for war. So his variants meeting was a bad thing, whereas the two Lokis meeting was a good thing. So I wonder if Loki will ever come across Sylvie again, in what timeline, where, how, God knows where. This is going to be so interesting. It's a shame it just ended like that. I just wanted more, just a little bit more, but no, it's good. It's good. I cannot wait. That was such a good series. I feel like that was a good, especially with all the films coming out, and obviously season 2 hopefully coming out. It was a good introductory springboard for all the films that we're going to get and all the other stuff. So well done. This was good. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I hope we get a chance to see the other Lokis in action. And yeah, and that was it. Thank you so much, and as always, like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.